you see the potential for the end of war. I mean, that's quite a statement.
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious as to what you see would need to happen for that to become a lived possibility.
Yeah. Well, there's something that Ken Wilber has said that he's one of the integral philosophers that a lot of us pay attention to, and he said something that it first struck me as kind of simplistic, but I actually realized the truth of it more I think of it, and that is development is the answer for everything.
Okay.
So that's basically it. Like I said, once countries reach modernity, and I'm not just talking modernity in terms of the exteriors, in terms of science, in terms of technology, but in terms of the interiors. There's something that happens. That's one of the really key principles of integral, is that there's an evolution of consciousness and culture. In other words, an evolution of my own individual consciousness, or the individual consciousness, and also the cultural consciousness. So once people and cultures reach modernity, it's actually just self-evident that, because we know history, we've lived through it, we see it, that the way forward for my people is not to conquer my neighbor. That's actually too much trouble. You know,
that's one way to put it. Yeah.
It's just not worth it. The way forward is for me to trade with my neighbor. And so now we might have some economic warfare, and that might be ugly, and everybody might get all upset about that, and rightly so. But let's just say that economic warfare is a stage higher than military warfare. And so it's true that studies have shown that roughly 70% of the population of the world is ethnocentric or below, or egocentric even. So they're pre-modern. So that's still vast majority of people. But and this is where, two cheers for elitism, because the elites in most countries, there's the outliers, there's North Korea, there's some of the countries in Africa, and you could argue that, maybe even Putin, I don't know, but there are people, but most of the people who are in power are operating at a modern or postmodern, world-centric point of view. And again, that's very, very pacifying. So as countries continue to develop, and even countries that are more pre-modern, like in Africa and so forth, the sort of center of gravity of the power in the elites of the rest of the world will sort of, moderate and modulate some of their more ethnocentric impulses. And so we can see that happening with UN peacekeepers and so forth. This is completely new, historically.
Yeah.